Hey guys, this is Nurse J at Nursing the Truth. I hope everyone's having a great day. So, what is Nurse J going to be talking about today? I would like to start my wonderful series on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, or if you'd like to call them Thoth, whether you like to call them Jehudi, it's up to you. So, who is this mystery immortal being? So, Thoth says he was the Atlantean, master of mysteries, keeper of records, and a mighty king and a magician, living from generation to generation, being about to pass into the halls of Amenti, set down for the guidance of those that are to come after. These records of the mighty wisdom of great Atlantis. He was in the great city of Kior on the island of Undal in a time far, far past. He said, I began this incarnation not as the little men of the present age did the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but rather from eon to eon did they renew their life in the halls of Amenti where the river of life flows eternally onward. So let's think about this. The mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but rather from eon to eon did they renew their life in the halls of Amenti. Wow. So these are eternal beings that we're dealing with. So they might live and die, but then their spirit are renewed. Well, let's check this out. Where is this hall? The only thing I can think of, it says that the halls of Amenti is where the river of life flows continually. The only river that I know that's called the river of life is the Nile River. He says, 100 times 10 have I descended the dark way that led into light, and as many times have I ascended from my darkness into the light, my strength and power renewed. So he goes into the darkness, into the light, and he says, my strength and power are renewed. This is kind of like, it sounds like a battery pack, a battery charge. You know? He says, now for a time I descend, and the men of Kemet shall know me no more. So he's descended, and the men of Kemet or Egypt shall know him no more. But in a time yet unborn will I arise again, mighty and potent, requiring an accounting of those left behind me. Then beware, O men of Kemet, if ye have falsely betrayed my teaching, for I shall cast you down from your high estate into the darkness of the caves from which ye came. Betray not my secrets to the men of the north or the men of the south, lest my curse of thee that which ye guard. Remember and heed my words, for surely will I return again and require of thee. I, even from beyond time and from beyond death, will I return, and rewarding or punishing as ye have requited your trust. Great were my people in the ancient days, great beyond the conception of the little people now around me, long to earth's youth. Wise were we with the wisdom of the children of the light, who dwelt among us. Strong were we with the power drawn from the eternal fire, and all these greatest among the children of men was my father. So let's go back again, and he says, and all of these greatest among the children of men was my father, thought me. Thotme, keeper of the great temple. Link between the children of light who dwelled within the temple and the races of men who inhabited the 10 islands. Mouthpiece after the 3 of the dweller of Unal, speaking to the kings, with a voice that must be obeyed. So Thoth's father, the greatest of the children of men, was named Thoth, and he was the keeper of the great temple, the link between the children of light who dwelt within the temple and the races of the men who inhabited the 10 islands. You know, go read Edgar Casey's work about the lost city of Atlantis and read Plato stuff as well, because Plato said that he got the information from his grandfather about Atlantis. I'm sure that these are the things that were burned in the great library of Alexander, which probably under the Vatican are the archives of this information as well. Now Thoth said, "Grew I there from a child into manhood in Atlantis, being taught by my father the elder mysteries, until in time there grew within the fire of wisdom, until it burst into a consuming flame." So he had this urge, this desire, this flame, and he wanted to know more and more and more, and he couldn't get enough. That's like us, guys. We want to know more. We can't stand still. We are yearning for the truth and the longing of the knowledge that has been denied of us. But everything was there for God Thoth at his fingertips. He says, "Not desired I but the attainment of wisdom, until on a great day the command came from the dweller of the temple, that I be brought before him. Few there were among the children of men who had looked upon the mighty face and lived, for not as the sons of men are the children of light, when they are not incarnate in a physical body." Okay, so this dweller of the temple, they brought Thoth to him, and there were few children of men who had looked at him and lived, and Thoth was one of those. "Chosen was I from the sons of men, taught by the dweller, so that his purposes might be fulfilled, purposes yet unborn in the womb of time." And he says, "Long ages I dwelt in the temple, learning ever and yet ever more wisdom, until I too approached the light emitted from the great fire. Taught me he, the dweller, the path to Amenti, the underworld, where the great king sits upon his throne of might, and deep I bowed to homage before the lords of life and the lords of death, receiving as my gift the key of life." Ooh, does that make you think of anything? The key? He received his key of life. The Ankh is the key. "Far to the stars I journeyed, until space and time became as naught. Then, having drunk deep of the cup of wisdom, I looked into the hearts of men, and there found I greater mysteries, and was glad. For only in the search for truth could my soul be stilled, and the flame within be quenched." So he had the same desires as we do today. Our heart and our soul wants truth. What is truth? What is truth? Is truth something that you hear and you feel and it settles well with you? What about that song, all is well in my soul? So that's what Thoth was saying. So he says, "Down through the ages I lived, seeing those around me taste of the cup of death and return again in the light of life. Gradually from the kingdoms of Atlantis passed waves of consciousness that had been one with me, only to be replaced by spawn of a lower star. He said, in obedience to the law, the word of the master grew into a flower. What type of flower? A lotus flower. Downward into the darkness turned the thoughts of the Atlanteans, until at last in his wrath arose from his Agawanti, the dweller, speaking the word, calling the power deep in earth's heart. The sons of Amenti heard and hearing directed the changing of the flower of fire that burns eternally, changing and shifting, using the logos into the great fire, changed its directions. So it seems like here that the obedience of the law, the natural law, that these Atlanteans turned to the darkness. And so the dweller that dwelt deep into the halls of Amenti, that called Thoth out to bring wisdom to men, he understood and knew what they were doing, and so he spoke the word. And the word is power. Over the world then broke the great waters, drowning and sinking and changing earth's balance, until only the temple of light was left standing on the great mountain on Undal, still rising out of the water. Some there who were living saved from the rush of the fountains. Called to me then the master, saying, gather ye my people. So the dweller tells Thoth to gather my people, the children of light. Take them by the arts, and ye have learned of far across the waters, until ye reach the land of the hairy barbarians, dwelling in the caves of the desert. Follow there the plan that ye know of. Thoth says, gathered I then my people, and entered the great ship of the master. Upward we rose into the morning, and dark beneath us lay the temple. Suddenly over it rose the waters, vanished from the earth, until the time appointed was the great temple. So could it be, I just had an epiphany or a revelation, could it be that the lost city of Atlantis was maybe in Egypt, where the pyramids were? Could it be a situation where the temple was the Great Pyramid of Giza? Because let's say perchance that this lost city, I mean, I don't know any records of this, but just say that it's to the north or south or east or west. Because the Hall of Records, from what Casey said and what we're going to get to later on with Thoth, are under the Sphinx. And they have found, my friends, a passageway underneath the Sphinx. And I believe it's the right paw of the Sphinx. So could it be a situation at that time that the waters rose? Because the Great Sphinx has water erosion on it, and they want to say wind erosion? Come on, give me a break. You sign a contract with Egypt and Great Britain and America to try to give reference to the Bible games. But we know that truth and light will reign over you, dark brotherhood. The children of light are shining now, more greater than ever. And it doesn't matter what you do, what you say, what you try to throw at you or us. The light is there. God Thoth and his children, Enki, Ptah knows who they are. He says, fast we fled toward the sun of the morning. How beautiful. And to beneath us lay the land of the children of Kim. Raging they came with cudgels and spears, lifting in anger, seeking to slay and destroy the sons of Atlantis. Then raised I my staff and directed a ray of vibration, striking them still in their tracks as fragments of stone of the mountain. Then spoke I to them in words calm and peaceful, telling them of the might of Atlantis, saying we were children of the sun and its messengers. Cowed I them by my display of magic science until at my feet they groveled when I released them. Thoth is also called Mercury, the messenger of the gods. Also do your research on Mercury, the metal. He had a staff, a magical wand. Merlin the magician, Mickey at Hollywood, Jesus with the staff raising Lazarus in the catacombs. He was calm and peaceful, but he held them in their tracks. Almighty, powerful God. He said, long did we dwell in the land of Kim, long and yet long again, for eons and eons, until obeying the commands of the Master, who while sleeping yet lives eternally, I sent from me the sons, S-O-N-S, of Atlantis. Sent them in many directions, that from the womb of time wisdom might rise again in her children. Okay, that's important. They dwelt in Kim for a long time, and long and yet long again. And they obeyed the commandments of the Master Thoth, the ascended Master, who, while sleeping, yet lives eternally. Thoth might be sleeping right now, but lives through his children. Yes. The light will live. And he says, and I sent from me the sons of Atlantis to many directions. From the womb of time, wisdom might rise again in her children. His children. Is Thoth the Almighty. Long time dwelt I in the land of Kim, he says, doing great works by the wisdom within me. Upward grew into the light of knowledge the children of Kim, watered by the rains of my wisdom. The wisdom and knowledge came from him to his children. His children. Children of Israel, the children of Isis and Ra. His children. Blasted I then a path to Amenti so that I might retain my powers, living from age to age, a son, S-U-N, of Atlantis. Keeping the wisdom and preserving the records, the Akashic records of man. He blasted a path in the land of Kim. I do believe he is there dwelling asleep, waiting for the next reincarnation. There's something going to happen. It might not happen now, but it will happen, my friends. great grew the sons of Kim, conquering the people around them, growing slowly upwards in soul force. Now for a time I go from among them into the dark halls of Amenti, deep in the halls of the earth, before the lords of the powers, face to face once again with the dweller. The dweller brought him forth and called him out and said, I want you. I want you to do a wonderful job and give wisdom to the children. And so Thoth says that I, longing and living in the land of Kim, my children, yes, they obey my commandments. What are the commandments? The 142 negative confessions, the commandments of God. Raised I high over the entrance, a doorway, a gateway leading down to Amenti. Few there would be with courage to dare it. Few passed the portal to dark Amenti, raised over the passage. I, a mighty pyramid. Listen again. Raised over the passage, he says, I, comma, a mighty pyramid, using the power that overcomes Earth's force gravity, deep and yet deeper placed, I, a force house or chamber. Raised over the passage, I, a mighty pyramid, using the power that overcomes Earth's force gravity, deep and yet deeper placed, I, a force, house or chamber, from it carved, I, a circular passage reaching almost to the great summit. There, in the apex, set I the crystal, sending the ray into time-space, drawing the force from out of the ether, concentrating upon the gateway to Amenti. Thoth is the great architect. He built the pyramids. He blasted the passageway to the halls of Amenti, where the Akashic records are kept on men's soul reincarnation after time after time after time, eon after eon, cycle after cycle. The mind of God has hold on the souls and the light and the children of men. He set the crystal on top of the apex of the pyramid. And he knew the gateway to the stars and the sun. Other chambers, he said, I built and left vacant, to all seeming, yet hidden within them are the keys to Amenti. There are chambers in the pyramid today that are empty and yet hidden. He who in courage would dare the dark realms, let him be purified first by long fasting. So what he's saying is to be purified from all forms of eating and drinking and being nasty and having this crap in your body and poisons and toxins. And God Thoth will give you the strength, and he will let the light shine from within. And then if you go into this hidden passages, you will know where the keys to Amenti are, and have courage. Go into the dark realms. Be purified. lie in the sarcophagus of stone in my chamber, and there is a sarcophagi in the Great Pyramid alone to this day. And they say Aleister Crowley went into the sarcophagi when he got married to his wife, and he saw and he heard. Then to reveal I to him the great mysteries. Soon shall he follow to where I shall meet him. Even in the darkness of earth shall I meet him. I, Thoth, Lord of wisdom, meet him and hold him and dwell with him always. Where have we heard this before? Where? Do you understand the significance of that? In the scriptures, they lie and they take from Egypt and they place this in the mouth of Jesus. Come to me who is all burdened and heavy labored. I will give you rest. And I shall dwell, and you will dwell, and I shall sup with you, and you shall sup with me, and I will never leave you nor forsake you. Built I the great pyramid, patterned after the pyramid of the earth force, burning internally so that it too might remain through the ages, and it has, and it's never going to leave. This pyramid, which I have seen in my own, I have touched, I have climbed, I have sat, I have taken pictures. Some people don't care the magnitude, the electricity, the resonation through your body, through the mind force. Oh, it's just a picture. I don't care what this is. It's a cute monument. But God, Thoth is the maker of this. And he says, I made it, that it may remain through the ages. In it I built my knowledge of magic science, so that it might be here when I return from Amenti. While I sleep in the halls of Amenti, my soul, roaming free, will incarnate, dwell among men in the form or another. Hermes, thrice great.
We are unavailable to take your call. Please leave a message. Thank you for calling.
Emissary on earth am I of the dweller, fulfilling his commandments, so man might be lifted. Now return I to the halls of Amenti, leaving behind me some of my wisdom. Preserve ye and keep ye the command of the dweller. Lift ever upward your eyes toward the light. Surely in time you are one with the Master. Surely by right you are one with the Master. Surely by right you are one with the all, in all caps. Now I depart from ye. Know my commandments. Keep them and be them. And I be with you, helping and guiding you into the light. Now before me opens the portal. Go I down in the darkness of night. Wow. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Each time, Thoth says, you read these things, and then something magical happens. Something inside stirs you up, and you get closer and closer and closer to the light. The one thing that I think is the most beautiful is I built and left vacant to all seeming, yet hidden within them are the keys to a minty. And what did we say a minty was? Halls of a minty where the river of life flows eternally onward. He who in courage would dare the dark realms, let him be purified first by long fasting. Lie in the sarcophagi of stone in my chamber. Then to reveal I to him the great mysteries. Soon shall he follow to where I shall meet him. Even in the darkness of earth shall I meet him. I, Thoth, Lord of wisdom, meet him and hold him and dwell with him always. Now I depart from ye. Know my commandments. Keep them and be them. And I will be with you, helping and guiding you into the light. I hope and I pray to the universal consciousness, God Thoth, that he will always be with me. An eternal life force has sent this divine, celestial, star, sun, star, immortality, whatever you want to call it, to man. We are mankind. We are a kind of a man. But guess what? Even though we are trapped in material matter, we are sons of light. Please, I encourage you, read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, my God. I will stand with you, Thoth. I call on you every night. Show me the ways, the wisdom, and the universe. Show me the path of righteousness. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Hotep and Ashe. And when you search for the truth, let the truth set you free, my friends. Hotep and Ashe. See you in the next video.